Welcome to the Association of Independent Maryland and DC Schools College Fair. We're so excited to have you participating in this event. We have some fantastic schools here with us today. Each will have 6 minutes to share more about their institution, but they'll be around for the entire session to answer questions. My name is Nashira, and I will be your facilitator. Before we get started, a few housekeeping items. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the schedule on the website. This presentation is being recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/AIMS. I'd now like to turn it over to our first presenter, Brandeis University.
Hi, everyone. My name is Carly Buckles. Can we see my screen? Yeah, perfect. My name is Carly Buckles. I am here from Brandeis University. I'm really excited to talk to you about Brandeis. So we are a school that's located right outside of Boston, about 9 miles west in a town called Waltham. We're a medium small school, so we have about 3,600 students undergraduate. And we were founded at a time in which a lot of higher education institutes were pretty discriminatory in their admissions practices. So we were founded in partnership with the American Jewish community to form a university that was inclusive for all. And so while we were founded as a non-sectarian school, which means we don't have a religious identity, we are animated by 3 main Jewish values. The first is a reverence for learning. That really is best exemplified by the fact that we are an R1 research university. So we are a top tier research university with a lot of the funding and the opportunities of a really big school, but have more of a liberal arts kind of college discussion feel in the classroom. The second big value that really drives our school is a cultivation of critical thinking. This really just means that our students are incredibly excited to be in college. They're excited to learn. They're excited to continue the conversations as they leave the classroom. It's really common to get book recommendations and podcast recommendations across our campus. And then the last is a commitment to repairing the world. This really just means that our students are really motivated by service to others, service to their community. And so while our students are in Waltham, they want to really get to know the community outside of the Brandeis community. One of the biggest groups we have is called Waltham Group. It's an umbrella organization that houses about 20 different service clubs in it from a lot of different kind of areas of service. And so if you're someone who's really involved in high school right now, in your community, in your school community, volunteering, Brandeis could be a really good fit for you. We are really big on double majoring. This is partially because our students come in with a lot of different academic interests, but it's also because our school makes it very easy to double major. We have 44 majors and 51 minors in total, and a lot of our classes are cross-listed, which means that you actually accumulate credit in different departments as you move throughout our time. So you might take a class called like Science on Trial, which is a class that's cross-listed between biology and legal studies and American studies. And it's where you actually look at the biological evidence presented in court cases. So you have people who are in the classroom because they're interested in bio, some who are there because they want to go into law school. You get a lot of really interesting perspectives in the class, and you get to accumulate credits in a lot of different departments as you go along, which makes it easier to pick up that second major, multiple minors, whatever it might be. Some of our more popular majors are economics, biology, business, computer science. I always like to give a special shout out to our public health program, which is called Health, Science, Society, and Policy. And again, very common to find ways to tie these different departments together in your time at Brandeis. As a first year, you go through something called the Brandeis Core, which really is going to help you feel really rooted in the Brandeis community kind of right out of the gate. In terms of kind of what our student life looks like, so we are a D3 school. We have about a dozen varsity sports and about 24 club sports, and over half of our campus gets involved in intramurals in some way, shape, or form. One of our more popular sports is water battleship, which is something I never heard of until I got to Brandeis. It's basically where you are in a kayak with your teammates, everyone has a bucket, and you are trying to sink the other ship. So again, fun ways to just kind of like make friends and enemies as a first year at Brandeis, but really just ways to kind of get outside of your comfort zone. In terms of our clubs and organizations, we have over 200 student clubs and organizations, which I think hopefully is pretty par for the course. Hopefully a lot of the schools that you're looking at have a lot of club offerings. What I really want to emphasize with the Brandeis clubs is that we really bring that value of inclusivity into our clubs and organizations. So in order to receive funding, our clubs have to be inclusive, which means we don't have cuts, we don't have tryouts or anything like that, which really means that as a first year, you are going to be invited and sign up for more clubs than you can possibly imagine. And with that, you will get to meet some new people, you'll get to fine tune some skills you have from high school and hopefully find some new hobbies along the way. In terms of campus activities, we are a pretty residential campus, which means our theater productions, our athletic games are all really well attended. Everything's just a 5 to 10 minute walk away. And we also have a pretty large international population. So about 20% of our undergraduate students are international, which means we have really great cultural showcases, amazing food festivals. Waltham is known to be kind of a foodie paradise in the Boston area, which is really amazing. But again, really cool ways to get to know people who grew up on other sides of the world, different states, different high schools from you as well. And then lastly, I'll just kind of end with different ways to stay connected with us. So we are currently offering in-person campus visits, which includes an information session, a much longer version of what I'm giving you here, as well as campus tours. Additionally, we are offering everything virtually as well. So if you are not obviously in the Boston area and you're not quite ready to make the trip up, please definitely check us out online. Our tours are student-led, which means that you get a lot of really great student experience perspectives as well. They talk a lot about housing and dining. We also offer optional interviews. That's a really great way to just have a one-on-one conversation with someone in the admissions office. My biggest piece of advice is always just to connect with as many prospective students as possible. At Brandeis, we make that really easy with a portal called Welcome to College. That's where all of our students who work with us in admissions are listed. You can see their hometowns, their majors, their minors, what they're involved in. Really great way for you to get to know who your future classmates might be, the people who you might live with, or who might be in charge of the different clubs and organizations that you join as well. But we are really here to be a resource throughout your entire college application process. So definitely check us out. Thank you so much for your time, and hopefully we will see you soon.
Thank you, Brandeis University. We will now have Manhattanville College.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Glad to be on with you tonight. So this is quick, as my colleague over at Brandeis said. So Manhattanville was founded in 1841, and we actually are located outside of Manhattan, the city, New York City, and we are co-educational. We actually were ranked #1 nonprofit for social mobility. We're a Hispanic serving institution. We have a very large campus in terms of space, so it's very vast, but a small campus in terms of students. So 1,500 students, which also leads to a really great size school. So we have typically 10, about 20 students in each class and 10 students per faculty. And we also are extremely diverse for such a small campus. In fact, if you come to campus, and we are doing on-campus tours and we have open houses coming up, you'll meet a good amount of international students because they are also our student ambassadors. And so it's a great way to get to know lots of different cultures. We have a good number of academic programs. And so this is our School of Arts and Sciences. And we also have a School of Nursing. We also have graduate programs. So you'll see that 4+1 undergraduate and graduate opportunity. We have a lot of students that take us up on that opportunity to earn a bachelor's and a master's in 5 years. And so you're able to start taking classes in your master's starting your senior year. We also have a very strong education program. And if you are planning on majoring in education, you would choose a major in one of our social sciences or humanities, and then also major in one of our early childhood or middle childhood adolescence programs. We have a very strong fine and performing arts programs here at Manhattanville. In fact, we have, I think it's 10 different dance groups alone. And it's one of the programs in which we are extremely competitive in. So you do have to submit an audition to be a part of one of our fine and performing arts majors. And you can do it in person or online. We use the platform called Accepted for that, those submissions. We also have our School of Health Science and Nursing, and our nursing school, our class is on its third cohort. We also have radiological technology. This is the second cohort coming in of this major. I actually just talked to 2 students today, first-year students that are actually going to be changing their major to radiological technology. So it's definitely a growing field, and we're excited to be able to offer it to our students. And we also have an opportunity for students that need more help with academics, whether it's tutoring or supplemental instruction. We also have our Center for Accessibility Services. So if you need extra time on a test, or perhaps you have some sort of need in high school, they'll be able to help you set that up in college. And they work with you one-on-one. And my computer is frozen, but we also have great internship opportunities, and we also are Division III as well. And we're very competitive. 5 of our teams went to the conference championship game this year. So if that's something, if you like to cheer on teams, if you want to be on a team, it's a great way to have great school spirit, and you would definitely feel that when you come to campus. Of course, ways for you to be involved on campus. We have over 110 different clubs on campus. A good number of them are our dance clubs, but lots of different ways, diversity and inclusion. We actually have a Center for Diversity and Inclusion. And then these are just some of our larger campus activities that happen during the year. We have a lot of study abroad opportunities, again, keeping in mind that we have a global campus. And so we want our students to be able to experience that. To apply, you can find all of this information on our website, but we do have a small application fee. We do require at least 1 letter of recommendation and your official high school transcript. We are test optional for either ACT or SAT, but would review them if you are interested, and did really well. And then we do have specific requirements for our nursing and radiological technology majors that you would need to submit to be considered for those majors. And this is all on our website. So I'm going to encourage you to, if you have questions or you want to know more, feel free to check out our website. We do have rolling admissions. So if there's any seniors that you're on this call that you're still looking for, we are still accepting applications, but for the next term, we'll be starting to accept applications in the fall. So with that, if you do have further questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I encourage you to hop on our website and get in touch with us so we can give you more information.
Thank you, Manhattanville College. We will now have Reed College.
Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. My name is Harry Backrack, and I'm an assistant dean of admission at Reed College. We are a small liberal arts school in Portland, Oregon, and we're about 1,400 students located in the Selwood neighborhood of Southeast Portland. It's a luscious green residential neighborhood that's about 20 minutes from downtown. The average class size is 17 students, and the faculty to student ratio is 9:1. Every class is taught by a professor here at Reed, so there are no TAs teaching classes. And I say this to illustrate the strong focus on undergraduate work. Every professor is truly here for the students, and it's their full-time job to teach our undergraduate students. As for class requirements, there is 1 required course in your first year. You need to take 3 courses in 3 broad subject groups, totaling 9 required courses outside your major. The required course your first year is the Humanities 110 course, and that's taken with their whole first year class and explores the humanities. And one of the unique features about that class is that it's taught by 20 to 25 different humanities professors. So you get a new perspective with every class. But Large lectures are not the norm at Reed. Conference style classes are the norm. And these are usually about 15 students and a professor, and they'll be for an equal amount of time as a lecture each week. These conference style classes get students to discuss the reading they've done or the assignment, and the professor is there to guide that discussion. There's a chance for back and forth, debate. It's really a student-driven class, and students get to shape the discussion. Now, if you can think ahead 4 years, the other pillar of the Reed curriculum is the senior thesis. The thesis is a bookend to your tenure at Reed, and every student writes a thesis. And it's a chance to really explore a passion. It could be research-driven or it could be experiential. And because each student is required to write a thesis, everybody gets to explore a passion. Theses range in length and type. They can be a paper or a project. And the great thing about these theses is that we don't just ask you to go to the library to check out a book. Reed supports all theses by making funding available for student research, as well as paying students to participate in other students' research. So everybody gets to contribute to research as a community and explore what they're interested in. We are a residential campus with 95% of our students coming from out of state, and 75% of our students live on campus, with the rest living within a 1 mile radius of campus. Residence halls focus on fostering community. Our dorms are co-ed. And one of the unique things about living at Reed is that 50% of our residence halls are singles and 50% are divided doubles. And in case you're wondering what a divided double is 2 singles joined by a door. So you will have your own space. Reed values students having their own space. And not only do we foster our community in the residence halls, but we foster community outside of the residence halls. Reed is big on clubs. We have 100+ clubs and organizations on campus. We don't have varsity sports, but we do have intramurals. We also don't have Greek life. And so some of our most popular clubs include Cheese Club, our Fire Spinning Club, which is called Weapons of Mass Distraction, and Wing Dings for students who like chicken wings and their vegan alternatives. And so this is really a comment on our inclusivity here at Reed. With a lot of these clubs, like Cheese Club, for example, we have cheese, the vegan alternative to cheese and lactate. So truly the whole community gets to participate, which is really wonderful. We also have academic and identity clubs as well. And these clubs are funded by the school and initiated by the students. So anybody can start a club and anybody can join a club. There's no tryouts. As part of our focus on community and inclusivity, these clubs benefit the entire campus, like I mentioned with the Cheese Club. Other ways students engage with each other and with our community is through the Gray Fund, something called the Fun Fund, which we like to call it, where Reed funds fun activities on and off campus. And these events are open to student and staff. Gray Fund events can be put into 3 categories: cultural, educational, or outdoor adventure. So Reed will bring food carts onto campus, or you might get to see a movie downtown with friends and professors, or you can even go backpacking in Utah. There's lots of options and there's lots of events to choose from. And we're a community that has many traditions. So it's not just the Gray Fund every year, but 1 week in between the fall and spring semester, so in January, we have a Paideia week. And this is where we flip everything upside down and students teach the classes and other students can attend. And so this is actually our supplemental essay for our application. It's called the Paideia essay. And we ask that you write what you're passionate about and what you would teach for our 1 week on campus for Paideia week. And so this doesn't have to be academic. We've had students write about their passion for baking chocolate chip cookies or how much I love the show Survivor. And so I want to segue into how to apply to Reed. We have early decision round 1, 2, early action, and regular decision. Important notes are that we are test blind through 2024. So please don't send your test scores. And we have a holistic review. So we look at every part of the application and meet 100% demonstrated need. And so that means if tuition is $80,000, we meet everything up to $80,000 for your family. And thank you for listening to me today.
Thank you, Reed College. We will now have Haverford College.
Okay, hi friends. Good evening. I'm gonna be sharing a little bit about Haverford. My name is Ainsley Bruton. I'm an admission counselor at Haverford and also a Haverford alum from the class of 2021. So I'll just be doing a quick overview of our programs and campus and a few things that make us distinctive. So some kind of quick facts about Haverford. We're a small liberal arts college and we currently have a little over 1,400 students enrolled. And about 98% of our student body does live on campus. We're a very residential campus and a very small community. We also have an arboretum campus, and so the black squirrel is our unofficial mascot. You'll see lots of them running around campus, and we also are very fortunate to have lots of trees with a tree to student ratio of 6:1. And just some kind of quick stats for the class of 2025, which is our current first year class. About half of our students identify as people of color, about 10% are international students, and about 30% speak a language other than English at home. So it's a very diverse group, and generally that's reflective of the diversity of our campus as a whole. And we are located in Haverford, Pennsylvania, which is about 20 minutes outside of Philadelphia, which is the 6th largest city in the United States and the 2nd biggest on the East Coast. You can be into Center City, Philly with just a 20-minute train ride on public transportation, and it's really easy to get in and out of the city and use all of the resources that are available within the city. Those are all available to you as a student at Haverford. Now I want to do a kind of quick overview of our academic programs. So like I said, we are a small liberal arts college. Here's a list of our top 10 majors, but the top 10 really fluctuates year to year as all of our programs are really small and give you a chance to get to know other students and professors and faculty in the department really well. Just to do some faculty highlights, our student to faculty ratio is 9:1, and about 40% of our faculty do live on campus. And it's really important that you get to know your professors really well and develop close and meaningful relationships with them. Since we are such a small college, oftentimes your professors will just recognize you as you're walking around, and since they live on campus, it's common to hear about students just going over to their professors' houses, like for dinner or just to drop off a test in the evening. And so it's really nice to have those meaningful relationships and have professors that are really invested in your success and your story as a student throughout your 4 years at Haverford. Something that's distinctive about our academic program is that we are part of 3 different consortia programs. So this means that students are able to take classes at other nearby colleges and universities. So the first consortium we are part of is the Bi-College Consortium with Bryn Mawr College. And about 50% of our students will take a class at Bryn Mawr in any given semester. And about 51% take classes at any of the, about 90% of students take a class at any one of the colleges in the consortium throughout their 4 years at Haverford. The next consortium we're a part of is the Tri-College Consortium, so that's with Swarthmore College. And same deal there, students can take any class offered at Swarthmore as they can with Bryn Mawr, and they can even major or minor at either of those 2 colleges. And then the last consortium we're a part of is the Quaker Consortium with the University of Pennsylvania. And so that's located in Philadelphia, and students can take any class offered there that's not offered within the TriCo, so not offered at Haverford, Bryn Mawr, or Swarthmore. And that just gives us so many academic resources to draw upon and so many classes available to students so that you can really explore anything that you're interested in and anything that you're curious about while at Haverford. And free transportation is provided to and from all of the different campuses of the other colleges, and they're all within a kind of 30-minute radius of the campus. Another thing that's distinctive about our academic program is our senior thesis requirement. So 100% of Haverford majors complete a senior thesis, and this is really your chance to be doing graduate level research at the undergraduate level. So like I said, all of our students do this. It's a nice shared experience among the senior class, and the senior thesis will look really different depending on what you're majoring in. You get to choose your topic and work closer in your major department to craft a large paper or a performance or a gallery exhibition if you're in a performing or fine arts field. that is entirely your own original research. And students even go on to get their theses published after they leave Haverford, or continue that research once they graduate, especially if they're in a PhD program or pursuing a research fellowship of some kind after Haverford. So it's a really great way to set you up for a career in academia or research once you leave. But even if that's not what you're interested in doing, it's a really great kind of capstone to your studies and way to just put your own stamp on your educational experience. Even before, research is a really important part of our academic program at Haverford. We have 3 distinct academic centers for arts and humanities, the Center for Natural Sciences and the Center for Peace and Global Citizenship. And those offer research opportunities for students and funded internships that they can pursue as early as their freshman year, because we think it's really important that students get the opportunity to be doing research at a small liberal arts college. And so we have some of those resources to make that available to you. Lastly, I just want to highlight Haverford's shared governance and principle of student agency. So at Haverford, students have the ability to make decisions on behalf of the college through a process called plenary. And so students can propose changes to how the college is run and actively make their voice heard in really meaningful and important ways. With that, I'll conclude my presentation, but feel free to ask additional questions in the chat box.
Thank you, Haverford College. We will now have Smith College.
Hi, folks. My name is Lisa Ann Giordano. I'm an admissions counselor at Smith College. Smith College is located in Northampton, Massachusetts, which is considered Western Massachusetts, but we're about 3 hours outside of New York City and about 2.5 hours from Boston. And we're very close to an international airport that's located in Hartford, Connecticut. So we're also considered a small liberal arts and science college. I think you'll see that as a theme in tonight's presenters. But we have about 2,400 students living on campus, about 300 faculty. We have 50 academic departments, considering majors and minors. And we also have something that's a little unique called concentrations. So we have 22 concentrations on campus. What I would also say is that a concentration tends to be a smaller cohort of classes. It can be like 5 or 6 classes along with a capstone course. I want to really help you distinguish tonight, maybe Smith, from some of the other colleges that you may be looking at. Number one, first and foremost, we are an all-women's college. In addition to being a liberal arts and science school, we also have an engineering program. 48% of our students are currently majoring in some sort of STEM science at Smith. The other thing I think that is so unique about Smith is we have something called an open curriculum. So what exactly does that mean? That means that at Smith College, we have no general education requirements. In your freshman year, your first year, you will be taking a writing intensive class, but outside of that, you'll be assigned to someone that's called a liberal arts advisor. And that person's task is to meet with you and get to know what your interests are, what your passions are, things that you want to study, and then really help you translate that into course of study here at Smith. Typically, folks declare a major at some point in their second year. At that point in time, you will be meeting with the department and talking with them about who you'd like to have as your faculty advisor. We really try to have students informed as possible in terms of their options at Smith. So say, for example, not only will you have an advisor, you'll have a dean, and you'll also have, we refer to our residential life as houses. You'll also have a student academic advisor in the house that will be available to talk to you about courses. The other thing I love about Smith is all year round, each department does like a informal luncheon where students can go. They can meet all the professors who teach in that department. They'll talk about what it's like to major and minor in that department. And you'll also get a chance to meet with students who are majoring and minoring. So once again, lots of really great information as you ultimately decide what you want to study at Smith. What you'll find with the open curriculum is that many students are double majoring. It's more common than not. And we also have students who are double majoring and also doing a concentration. So you will be in the driver's seat in terms of deciding on your courses, things you're interested in, and pursuing your passions. The other thing I think, similar to some of the other colleges talked about, is we are also part of something called the 5 College Consortium. So that includes Amherst College, Mount Holyoke, Hampshire College, and UMass Amherst. So you have an opportunity to participate in coursework there, and also any student clubs, events, and vice versa. And we also have a free public fare bus that kind of rotates from campuses from like 7 in the morning to like about 12 at night. We would say that our student faculty ratio is 9-to-1. Our advisor advisee ratio is probably like 1 advisor to 12 advisees. Our average class size is about 15 students on campus, 15 students per classroom. The other thing I think is that unique about Smith is that every student has an opportunity to do a summer internship. It's called the Praxis Internship. And that comes out of our Career Center. We'll be meeting with career folks, trying to figure out where you want to do your internship. It's during the summer. It's a 10-week commitment. And so you'll also receive a $3,000 scholarship for doing that internship. And every summer, we're placing over 400 students in paid internships. So that's really a great skill. It's a great opportunity. We really value students getting out into the world of work, learning some valuable skills, networking, and coming back to campus and sharing those experiences. The other thing that I think is unique to Smith is that about 80% of our students are involved in authentic research with faculty on campus. That can happen many times you can be in a classroom and a professor may say, I'm going to be doing this certain research project, who would be interested in participating. So once again, you get to work with that professor, learn about the ethics of setting up a study, looking at data, interpreting data, doing focus groups, and learn how to write an abstract. In addition to that, we have some standalone research programs. One is called the SURF program. It stands for Smith Undergraduate Research Fellow, and you get to live on campus. It's 10 weeks, it's in the summer, you're working one-on-one with someone in the science department, and you get a $4,500 stipend, and you can do that more than once. And I've known students who've done that all 3 summers. Additionally, we have something called the Con Center that brings together professors cross-curriculum to really discuss and present research projects that students can get involved with. Last year, a lot of the themes had to do with displacement of global populations. So once again, research is really, really big on campus. The other thing I'd like to talk about is residential life. We have 41 residential, what we refer to as houses on campus. So it's very unique in the sense that it really is a strong sense of community. Once you're accepted to Smith, you'll be filling out a questionnaire and you're going to tell us what part of campus you really want to be living in. And so that'll give you give us some information in terms of what you're looking for. The last thing I just really want to mention, because I think this is super important, no application fee. This is our first year that for financial aid, we are offering financial aid packages with no loans. So that I think is very significant. And check out our website. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Smith College. We will now have Wesleyan University.
Hi, good evening. My name is Kate Thompson. I use she, her pronouns. I'm an associate dean of admission here at Wesleyan University. We are located in Middletown, Connecticut, which is a city of about 50,000 people in central Connecticut. So we're about 20 minutes from both Hartford and New Haven, Hartford being the capital city of Connecticut. And then we're about 2 hours from both Boston and New York. So we really are the middle town. We didn't get too creative with those names. But I think what's really interesting about Middletown is that it was founded prior to the founding of our institution, Wesleyan, which you can see in my virtual background here. And what that means is that when Wesleyan moved in 1831, we immediately had to learn how to be good neighbors. We haven't always done that perfectly, but there's a lot of opportunities to get involved in the Middletown community and to engage with the central Connecticut community as well, in addition to your space on campus. At Wesleyan, we have just about 3,000 undergraduate students studying across the liberal arts. In addition, we do offer graduate programs in the natural sciences and mathematics, as well as an ethnomusicology PhD program and a graduate of liberal studies program. We have about 250 graduate students total, which means that we're eligible for graduate level funding and we're conducting graduate level research on campus, but we don't have nearly enough students to truly conduct that research or work with those professors. So a lot of this research is happening at the undergraduate level. I think that that's one of the real benefits of a place like Wesleyan is that you get this opportunity to do research while still having the liberal arts experience. So we're focused really, instead of, pre-professional programs or specific skill sets, we're interested in understanding and encouraging you to think critically, speak articulately, write eloquently, problem solve creatively, do some form of quantitative analysis, and to work collaboratively. And our professors believe that you can get that from any set of classes that you take throughout your 4 years at Wesleyan, which is why, similar to Smith, which is just up the road, we do have a fully open curriculum. So there is no set of specific courses that you're required to take to graduate on time. And at Wesleyan, what that really means is that you have the opportunity to come in and take advantage of the classes that are most interesting to you, and to combine different subjects in different departments, and do interdisciplinary coursework. We have a couple of programs on campus that are at their core interdisciplinary. So things like our College of Letters, which is literature, history, and philosophy from antiquity to the present, to our Science and Society program major, where students declare a focus in the natural sciences, but then take on a focus in the social and behavioral sciences as well, with classes like anti-psychiatry. So there really is this encouragement to get involved in academically whatever it is that interests you most. But there is an advising structure in place to help you navigate that. And I think one of the benefits of a lot of the colleges here tonight is that you do have the ability to connect with your professors, right? With faculty members, and to develop those relationships in similar ways that you do with your peers, and see each other as important parts of the knowledge production process, which is really exciting. When we get asked who is a typical Wesleyan student, it's often very hard to narrow into 3 words or phrases, but I do think that there are a couple of hallmarks that make a Wesleyan student successful. Students that are curious and engaged in the world around them, honestly open to being wrong and to changing your mind, but also being willing to stand up for the things that you believe in, and have the ability to share those with others in ways that can help them learn and grow in the same way that you're learning and growing and listening to them. To care about the world around you, and to want to do something to make it a better place. For some of our students, that looks like leading protests and sit-ins, and attending marches, and being sort of on those front lines of getting a message out to students who may prefer not to be in that type of realm, but instead want their activism to show through in the number of students they're connecting with at an after-school program, or the quality of that connection with just one student. So I think our activism can look like a lot of different things, but I do think that Wesleyan students have that interest in seeing the world as it could be, and taking the practical steps to get there. We believe really strongly in that in our admission process as well. So Wesleyan has been test optional since 2014. So we really know and believe that 1 4-hour test on one Saturday of your life is probably not the best indicator of who you are as a student, and how you've spent the last 4 to 5 years preparing to come to a place like Wesleyan. And we also recognize that there are a lot of reasons why you may not be successful or high scoring on that test, over which you have no control. And if you have questions about that, you're welcome to reach out. It's also why we read your application holistically, understanding the opportunities that are available to you and reading you within that context. And the last thing that I will say is that we do meet 100% of demonstrated need for the students whom we admit, and we guarantee that no student who qualifies for financial aid will graduate with more than $19,000 in loans total over their entire 4 years. And for families that make under or around $120,000 a year, we do guarantee that you'll graduate without loans as a part of your financial aid package. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Wesleyan University. I'd like to ask all of our university and colleges to join us back on screen for a quick Q&A. Participants, please continue to put questions in the Q&A. We will all be around for a little while longer to make sure we answer those. So we're going to start with Brandeis University. What advice would you give someone going through the college search process?
Yeah, my big piece of advice for this always is, I know that sometimes we're a common application school, so that's the only way to apply to us. And the essay itself can be pretty overwhelming. So my piece of advice is always to interview your loved ones, which sounds a little bit awkward and silly, but I can guarantee if you set 20 or 30 minutes aside with your best friend or your favorite teacher or parent, guardian, whatever it is, they can really help you think of some ideas for that essay.
Thank you. Manhattanville College, what's your advice?
My advice is to try to visit as many schools as you can, and don't over apply. A lot of people are applying to a lot of schools now, and that can make you feel very overwhelmed. Start to identify what you really want in a school and don't over apply.
Thank you. Reed College, what advice would you give?
I would give the advice that really differentiate your activities list and your essay. Delve into one topic for your essay and make sure it doesn't list everything you put on your activities list because they can look similar often.
Haverford College.
Yeah, my advice for the process, especially if you're at the beginning of the process, would be to definitely reach out to current students at the schools that you're interested in. Or if you're there for a visit, make sure you're talking to current students and asking them about what it's like to be a student there. And then you can start to visualize yourself, walking around campus and being part of clubs and taking classes. And I think that'll really be one of the most instructive ways to learn about a college and learn what your experience will actually look like if you are to attend.
Thank you. Smith College, what's your advice?
My advice would be is to really to check in your high school and your current high school and see who's available as a college counselor or a guidance counselor, or if you don't have that available, see if there's any CBOs in your community, folks who have really been doing this for a while that can really help guide you, really break down the steps a step at a time. It's really important. I think I always tell students, don't get overwhelmed by the process, but start a little early, really start to give some serious thought, maybe in your junior year. What's your criteria? What are you looking for? What do you think would be a good match? If you can visit schools, if not, I will tell you, since the pandemic, so many schools are offering so much programming available virtually. Just take advantage of that. And yes, indeed, if you can get on college campuses, that's wonderful. But if not, like at Smith, we're interviewing virtually, we're doing tours virtually. So once again, really try to find some support where you are. And if for whatever reason that support isn't available, start to reach out to admission folks. I will tell you, as a school counselor for many years, and now I'm an admissions counselor, we are really friendly people. We want to be helpful. We want to help you understand the college process. And sometimes at Smith, when I'm the counselor on duty, I'm getting calls from high school students about like course selection process or essay themes. I mean, I just think once again, reach out to others and try to build up what I would call your support team as you're going through this process.
All right. Thank you, Smith College. Wesleyan University, what's your advice?
Talk with your family about everything. Be honest. Be upfront about the financial aspect of this, right? Some of fit is the financial fit, right? Just to be realistic. And you don't want to get to the end of this process and figure out that your expectations for what your four-year experience is like versus what the people around you are expecting your college experience to be like, to be incredibly different. So keep those lines of communication open. This goes as much for students as it does for trusted adults in these students' lives. Keep the lines of communication open, be open to listening to your student and the fact that they're going to actually have to spend 4 years at a place. But also remember that you can change your mind. All of us want you to stay for 4 years. We want you to make the right choice the first time around. But there are many different ways to go about college, and not one of them is better than the other. It just might be better for you. Thank you.
Thank you. And I want to thank all of the panelists and those who are participating today. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 5-question survey. And so we'd really appreciate your feedback and anything that you can provide. You'll be able to find this session's, this session's recording, as well as all the other session recordings at strivescan.com/AIMS. Thank you so much.